ABC 10 News at 4 starts now.
The search for answers in a plane crash that killed 2 people heading to San Diego. What it takes to find out what went wrong before it went down in the Las Vegas desert. And preparing now for in-person voting. Your voting location is about to look a lot different for this historic election. Plus, cruise ships get the green light to set sail after sitting idle for 7 months. Investigators say they're looking at every possible factor in determining what caused an airplane to crash on its way to El Cajon. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. I'm Kimberly Hunt. The pilot and passenger were killed just minutes after taking off in Las Vegas. ABC 10 News reporter Jennifer De La Cruz explains when we could have some answers.
The FAA and NTSB both investigating a plane that crashed and killed 2 people Thursday morning near Las Vegas. This is the wreckage of the twin-engine Cessna 310 after crashing into a construction site shortly after takeoff. The plane was on its way to Gillespie Field in El Cajon, but only stayed in the air for 9 minutes. Witnesses reported seeing the aircraft flying low, then sputtering and crashing down. The FAA is handling the ground investigation, while NTSB is looking into other factors that may have caused the crash.
Part of what we will be doing is collecting information regarding the radar data, weather information, air traffic control communications. We don't have to be on scene to do that.
Investigators are also looking into previous flights and the pilot's flying record.
Look at the pilot's flight history, medical records, the log books. We'll also be looking at maintenance of the aircraft and so forth, maintenance records. Anything in the last 72 hours of the flight crew or so forth.
NTSB is set to issue a preliminary report on their findings in about 2 weeks. They tell ABC 10 News that determining the cause of the crash could take up to 2 years. Jennifer De La Cruz, ABC 10 News.
We compared the tail's tail number to a plane on the flight tracker, and it appears the plane was registered to someone out of La Jolla, but we still don't know if that owner was on board. The medical examiner has not yet released the names of the victims. Turning now to your voice, your vote this year, you don't have to wait until Election Day to cast your ballot in person. Starting tomorrow, 235 super polling sites will open their doors across the county. And ABC 10 News reporter Rachel Bianco is live at one of those polling locations in Mira Mesa with the big changes that voters can expect. Rachel?
Hi, Kimberly. Like everything else in 2020, voting in person will look a lot different this year. Now, we're in the gym of the Mira Mesa Rec Center, and the county chose this location partly because of its size. It'll be easier for social distancing. You can see some of the workers here in their face masks and face shields having a meeting going over everything for next week. Now, usually there are about 1,600 small voting precincts across the county. This year, the county is opening 235 large polling locations over a 4-day period. Each location is roughly 2,000 square feet. The idea is to maintain social distancing and reduce wait times on Election Day. There will be 7 different check-in stations at each site to help speed things up. Plexiglass will separate poll workers and voters, and everyone must wear a mask. If for some reason a voter can't wear one, they'll be taken outside to a different area to cast their ballot. County officials also encourage people to mark their sample ballot ahead of time and make sure you go to your assigned polling location. Turnout is expected at a record 80 to 85%. The county also wants voters to feel safe when they vote in person.
A polling location is a sanctuary for voters. The U.S. Supreme Court has upheld that there is a right of a voter to retire inside their polling locations free of intimidation, free of interference, as well as free from any level of rhetoric.
Election workers have also been trained in de-escalation tactics. Initially, there was a shortage of people willing to work the polls, partly because of the pandemic. Coming up new at 5 o'clock, you'll hear from a woman who says it is an honor to do so. Also, we want to let you know that the hours at these super polling locations are a bit different. They are 8 until 5 up until Election Day, and then Tuesday, they're the normal hours, 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. Reporting live in Mira Mesa, Rachel Bianco, ABC 10 News.
Early voting in Texas has already exceeded the state's total ballots cast in 2016, which is more than 9 million. That unprecedented surge may mean that Texas is drifting towards battleground status. The state also only offers limited vote-by-mail options. Most Texans opt for in-person early voting if they don't want to line up on Election Day. Now, when counting mail-in or absentee ballots, signature verification could take on a bigger role than ever before. Questions about the process could lead to courts making decisions that impact the outcome.
You're simply talking about more ballots. And when you have a situation where different counties are perhaps employing different processes, and there could be a lot of litigation.
Now, states and counties take different steps to check if a signature matches what they have on file. Some local election officials let voters know ahead of time if their ballot has been rejected, so they have time to fix it. Now, voters in other states might not find out until after the election, if at all. Now, some states are more lenient, like accepting a nickname instead of a full name. Others, though, will closely check your signature. Now, that does create problems for people with medical conditions like those that cause tremors that could lead to inconsistent signatures.
Part of the problem is there's not a whole lot of accountability in terms of review. And of course, election officials aren't experts at reviewing signatures. And even for experts, comparing signatures can be really difficult.
Now, if you find out that your ballot has been rejected or challenged because of the signature, you want to contact your county or state election officials, and you can also call the Election Protection Hotline at the number you see on your screen. That is 1-866-OUR-VOTE, and you can ask any questions you have about voting there.
The CDC announced it will not extend its no-sail order, meaning cruise ships are getting closer to setting sail again. Ships that carry 250 passengers or more must have testing, quarantine, and isolation plans. They must have social distancing requirements for passengers and crew members. Before ships hit the seas again, they will need to conduct mock voyages with volunteers under safety protocols before passengers can come back on. Two massive cruise ships have been sitting idle off San Diego's coast since the no-sail order began 7 months ago. We're looking into the impact this will have on San Diego's cruise industry tonight on ABC 10 News at 5. Actress Lori Loughlin is beginning her 2-month prison sentence for her role in the college admissions cheating scandal. The former Full House star reported to federal prison in Northern California today. She and her husband paid $500,000 to get their daughters into USC as fake crew team recruits. Loughlin will serve 2 years of supervised release, 100 hours of community service, and pay a fine of $150,000. Her husband must surrender to prison by November 19th. Right now, a search for survivors in Turkey and Greece after a 7.0 magnitude earthquake crumbled buildings and triggered a mini tsunami. At least 19 people were killed, more than 700 are injured. A small tsunami sent water rushing into the streets. More than 100 aftershocks have been reported. Both governments say people are still trapped in the rubble.
Let's start the news feed. The average daily amount of new coronavirus cases in the U.S. is more than 74,000. That is up from an average of more than 52,000 a day just 2 weeks ago, according to Johns Hopkins University. The Federal Reserve is making it easier for small businesses to borrow money. The Fed lowered the barriers for its small business loan program. This move is coming rising concerns about the economic damage that we could see as we head into winter. And wages and benefits did go up this summer, but not that fast. They grew at the slowest pace in 3 years. The country has barely recovered just more than half of the jobs that have been lost in this pandemic.